One of the things I'd like to do, I want to welcome everybody on board. You're with Ninas, and the agenda today is the update on the International Criminal Court December 2020 statement of Nigeria indicating that there is a reasonable basis to believe war crimes have been committed, and what we must do to keep the heat on. So so that's basically the agenda. What we will do also is, I want to welcome the participants. Welcome on board. We will be talking about issues. Aim of the FFN and in driving the FF NINAS message. The topic, like I said. Okay, so now my experience of NINAS, to be honest, as if you know, I sort of came in very much as an outsider, and very much keen to learn. I first heard about it when I spoke to Professor Banji Akintoye on a number of issues, and he talked about Ninas and the fact that the Yoruba Nation movement, in terms of Lano at the time, was going to be working closely, and in fact, all of the Yoruba Nation will be working with Ninas and what the southern region, sort of Nigerian Independent and Indigenous Nationality Alliance for Self-Determination, NINAS. So I started hearing about it, and I started sort of, and I thought, oh, this is perfect. What drew me in was the message of the referendum, which, by the way, how many of you have signed the referendum? If you haven't signed it, please do so now. We urge you to go ahead, sign that referendum. It's very, very important that we get that piece of document up and running, and in place. So that's something that drew me in, and I've been sort of learning more and more, and of course going on doing a number of programs where Ninas, the UN peaceful rally was one that really was very impactful. That really brought a lot of things. It brought shed a lot of light in what was being said. Oh, let me second. So okay. So it really shed a lot of light in that way, and it made me be able to see, the need for actually those of us, even though we are with different organizations, or we might have different driving forces behind our motives and our goal. It was important that what I like about NINAS is that it actually brings it together. It brings all of the southern organizations together, and you can actually focus on the goals, on the central goal of self-determination. So, and that's a very powerful thing that we can have right there. And it's separate but equal, but also towards the same goal. So everything is encompassed in NINAS, from my point of view. So the topic again, just to reiterate, is the ICC, International Criminal Court. For those of you who may not know, they released a statement back in 2020 on Nigeria indicating that there is a reasonable basis to believe war crimes have been committed, and what we must do to keep the heat on. So I think at this point, I'm probably going to let Jean, if Jean is back on. I'm not sure if she's back on yet. Okay, is Jean around? Oh, no. Okay, let me carry on.
Hello.
Hello, yes. Hello, good
Please,
evening.
Good evening. This is Stephen. Please, may I respectfully make a very quick correction to avoid confusion?
Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. We are not signing the referendum right now.
No.
Let me finish.
Yes, sorry.
Yes. We are signing the request for a referendum.
Of course.
So that people don't turn around to think, oh, we got the referendum already. No. We are signing the request for referendum. Just to be clear. Thank you, sir.
Very, very important point. I do apologize for interjecting quickly. But of course, you're right. Let's be very, and let me restate that point very, very strongly. Of course, when we say that you sign the referendum, it is a request on our part to the UN to come and actually get the referendum. So we're putting in a request. It's not the actual referendum itself. So very, very good point, sir. a point well made and something I couldn't, I agree with 100%. At this point, I think I'm probably I'll let Jane, welcome on board, welcome back. Do you want to take it from here?
Okay, welcome everyone to today. I know that some places it's already morning. It is a little bit afternoon here in Chicago. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about the aim of the Freedom from Nigeria. Really want to welcome everyone, because what we focus on here is delivering the NINA's message in very clear and uncomplicated terms, and really getting everyone to understand what's going on and what we need to do as a people to get to the destination that we need to. I think most everyone at this point knows what's going on. They may not know who is doing it or how it's being done, okay? And so in these programs, we want to talk about that. We also want to talk about, so people can understand what Nigeria was and what NINAS is doing, right? But Freedom from Nigeria, what we do is to break down that information so that you can understand it. And then frequently we remind people that knowledge is power. And this is really important, because knowledge is power, and power means freedom. So the more knowledge that we have, the more power that we have, and the more freedom that we are, and the closer to freedom, actually grabbing freedom, that we're going to get to. And so part of all this topics that we're talking about today, you'll find out how it all relates to what we need to do to get our freedom, okay? So again, our sole purpose is to deliver the message. If you're here for the first time, we really ask that you please provide your information so that we can get a hold of you. But the key thing that we want everyone to understand is that this is a place where we encourage you to take the knowledge that you have received and to share it with the world. And those are the people that are going to be responsible, and the people that we want them to have a passion in their hearts to say, let's change what's going on in Nigeria. Let's join the indigents and change what's going on in Nigeria. We also want to reach our own people so that we can let them know that they are the ones that have the power. This is so important, because we see a lot of apathy. We see a lot of hopelessness, because people think, oh, the governing class are the ones that have the power. But that's not the case. It is people that have the power. The governing class are simply managers. But over the years, they've been made to feel as if they're second-class citizens. They're not citizens at all. The Constitution even doesn't allow their benefits to be, enforced in court. And so our people, and especially those in the villages, feel as if they are less than when they are the power. So that's why we hold these sessions, so that all of us collectively can do our part to share this knowledge, to reclaim the power to the people. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Jane. Now, just as an add-on, I don't know if I went through the topics before I invited Jane to come to take on the topics. I'll just go over that briefly with you. Aims of the FFN, driving and Nina's message, very much like Jane has said. The format in terms of, what is Nina's and what is it trying to restore? What is the ICC? What authorities does it have? The details of the ICC message, which I will go through at some point with you all. Let me see. Is that the third topic? I think I may have to. Yeah. Okay. No. That's gonna be taken over by that top point will be carried by Emoro Fete or Eugene Emenogu. I don't know if either of them are here, so we could let them go over that bit, and then Stephen Fality would talk about what is ICC and what authority does it have, and then of course we would then go and talk about myself. I will go over one or two key points later on in the discussion about the report from the International Criminal Court and the steps they've taken thus far to actually begin to as it were, hold the Nigerian government and some key players in the field, Nigerian security forces, I think it is, and Boko Haram, begin to hold them to account. So there will be discussions around that. We'll go into a bit more detail about that. So, but I don't want to, let the cat out of the bag, as it were. Let's, go in order. So, just one more thing. Yeah, well, of course, keeping the heat on, sharing our story on social media. That will be, some more ideas about that. And Jim will talk about that later on. Let's see. Okay, I think there's a few things that we're looking at. So that is essentially it. Let's see. So is Emoro Efetie or Eugene Emenogo, is either of you around? Yes, Emoro Efetie. Good afternoon. Are you available?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so what is NINAS and what is it trying to restore? Could you go into detail with that with our audience, please? Thank you very much. Welcome on board.
Thank you. Well, NINAS stands for Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination.
Mm-hmm.
And when Nigeria was started or gained her independence in 1960,
Mm-hmm.
in October 1960, it was a federation,
mm-hmm.
where you had, at that time, 3 regions: the northern, the eastern, and the western regions.
Indeed.
Now, these were regions that had their own constitutions, and they were autonomous in many ways. They were self-governing. So the Federal Republic of Nigeria was a group of what you would call autonomous regions, each with their own constitution, their own governments. In fact, my understanding is they even had their own ambassadorial services.
Mm-hmm.
So they were independent. But anyway, they had the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria allowed for that kind of a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a healthy relationship and respect amongst these regions. By plebiscite, another region was formed. In fact, that is the region that I originally come from. Another region, the Midwestern region, was formed out of the Western region.
Mm-hmm.
And so it became 4 regions.
Mm.
And that was in 1963.
Mm. Mm.
Okay, so, but however, there was unrest in Nigeria because of some problems that had to do with corruption and ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there was unrest, especially in the Western region. There was a lot of unrest. And this led eventually to the coming in of the army in January 1966. You see, and
Indeed.
so, and so on January 15, 1966, the army staged a coup and removed that unitary. I'm sorry. The way the way the regions were aligned with each other, they removed that system, that federal system of government,
mm-hmm.
and they abolished that, and the Nigerian constitution was put aside,
mm-hmm.
And so a unitary government was formed.
Okay.
Then the army began to take a major role in the life of Nigerian politics. We had military governments, coups, and counter coups, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But what Nigeria was from 60 to 66 was never restored.
Yeah.
That way of relationship between regions, the federal way of government or governing in terms of the regions was never restored. The unitary government has stayed on in one way or the other.
Okay.
Even when the country returned to civilian rule, or after the military in 1999.
Yeah.
And at that time, a constitution, a unitary constitution, was foisted upon the people of Nigeria. And that constitution basically is what holds with today's government. And that is the constitution that Ninus is saying is a fraud.
Yeah.
And that what it allows is not what Nigeria was originally intended to be. And that Nigeria needs the ethnic nationalities of Nigeria, which are many, need to be able to have a say in terms of their assets and their governance.
Indeed.
Which they don't have now.
Okay.
So Ninas is trying to bring us back to that. And it's by way of protest peacefully and also eventually a referendum whereby the nationalities are going to say this is how we should exist with one another. And it should not be something dictated by just a particular group of people. So that, I would say, is what Ninas is about. Is trying to restore and is trying to sensitize the ethnic nationalities to take power, which is theirs.
When did Ninas actually take shape? Just for those who may not know, if you just give us what year roughly did Ninas really take shape?
Well, in terms of Ninas was not originally called Ninas. It was used to be called Freedom for One Nigeria.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, and so it goes back to be honest, I don't know the exact, but at least 20 years ago.
Yeah. It was about 1999 Constitution that they came about.
Yeah, actually, it was Movement for No Nigeria, Movement for New Nigeria.
That's it. Yes.
Movement for No. Thank you. Movement for No Nigeria.
That's it. Yes.
In 1999.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Yes. Okay.
So so 1999 is about 22 years ago.
That's correct. Yes.
So that's how long this movement has been working, and and now it has become an alliance of the Middle Belt, the Yoruba Southwest, and the Niger Delta.
Yes.
The LNC, Lower Niger Congress. So this is the alliance of the non-Sharia parts of Nigeria. See, because what has happened is that some states in Nigeria have essentially put themselves out of being part of Nigeria in that they've declared Sharia law in those states. Because by that, they have flouted this same constitution.
Yes.
And so they've put themselves out of being really what you would say.
They seceded, if you like, in effect.
They seceded in this way without realizing it, maybe. But that's what they've done.
One more question. One of the things that happened as a result of the Ninas was obviously the force majeure. Could you talk to us a little bit about that so that people could get some idea? Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Well, Ninas the Lower Niger Congress and the we're working with different world institutions or countries, which include the United Nations, the United States, United Kingdom, and so forth, and the European Union. Now, so the idea was that bring the international community to become aware of what is happening in Nigeria and the travesty and all that has been happening, and the killings, the terrorism, and so forth, which are as a result of the use of this constitution by a particular ethnic group. Now, the force majeure, which happened December 16th, 2020.
2020, that's correct, yes.
Yeah, 2020, which was last year, was basically a declaration by NINAS to say that we repudiate or we totally reject this constitution, and we are no longer under its power. It is not something that we originally ourselves said we were party to. It was something foisted on us, and we do not want to be part of being governed by this constitution anymore. So now we are free from saying it rules our ethnic nationalities. The ethnic nationalities are saying we are free from that. We have this force majeure has been declared as of December 16, 2020, and now we need a referendum.
Indeed. Okay.
Right. Just to add a little bit of color to that is, but yeah, the constitutional force majeure did reject or repudiate the 1999 Constitution, the evil agent 1999 Constitution,
the fraud,
with a license to kill innocent indigents, right?
Yes.
And it also called for the suspension of any national elections under this fraudulent 1999 Constitution. And so that's why we say no 2023 election.
Exactly.
We stop the 2023 election for the very specific reason that that national election renews the life of the Constitution that we just rejected.
Exactly.
And so everyone that is indigenous to the land, must stand to see that doesn't happen, right? Indeed. And then that's now going to allow the ethnic nations to go vote in a referendum that's going to be supervised by the UN in their own blocks, okay? Indeed. So what NINAS did was to ask the current government to stay in place as that transition government, right? Just like they did in South Africa.
Yeah.
If you remember when they were taking down apartheid, and we've talked about the fact that Nigeria is definitely an apartheid situation, exactly, is that the Boer government actually, and I think the Clegg just died, was it yesterday?
Yeah, a few days ago,
It stayed on as a transition government, right? Just kind of keeping things going while the indigenous owners of the land got themselves together, prepared for the referendum, and went through that referendum process, okay? So that's what that constitutional force majeure is about, is giving the power back to the nations so that we can exercise our self-determination to be nations again and determine for ourselves how we want to be governed. Okay, because unitary Nigeria is not the agreed upon Nigeria, and it's definitely not one Nigeria. So I just wanted to add that bit of color there.
Thank you very much. Jane. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Emoro FATA, for your full discussion about the NINAS and all of that. Thank you once again. I think I need to bring in, is it Stephen Fality? Is that the person? Are you next now? Is that Stephen? Oh, sorry. Okay, Eugene. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, actually, Eugene, if we can move forward and if you can make your statements, because we're kind of running a little behind.
Yeah, anyway, let me just say a quick statement. I was going to point out the difference between how, for example, the Midwestern Nigeria was created and as opposed to how unitary Nigeria created all these states. Midwestern Nigeria was created by a referendum.
And plebiscite.
Okay.
All these states are being carved out by military, just as they see fit. So those are the
military decree 24.
Okay.
In fact,
yes,
right? That's a great comment. Actually, that's a great comment. Yeah, that's a great comment.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then one of the things too that is important, because a lot of people that talk about one Nigeria, but one Nigeria is quite different from unitary. Yeah. Unitary is where they have taken everything. They've taken all the nations, made away with the nations, which is not allowed because you can't take away the sovereignty of those nations, right? They've taken away those nations, put everything into the central government, which is called the federal government, which was not supposed to be that, okay? And so what NINAS is doing, as Imoro said succinctly, is the fact that NINAS is not seceding. They are actually restoring the sovereignty, restoring those nations. And that has to happen because what we have right now is an aberration, and it's a military imposed by non-indigenous, and we always keep saying this, by non-indigenous people to the land. And that's not something that can stand.
Thank you. Thanks, Jen, and thanks, Eugene. Thank you very much. Yes. Now, the next person to bring on board is Stephen Fality. I hope I'm saying it correct. We're going to talk about the International Criminal Court. You'll talk to us about International Criminal Court. So are you there, sir? Stephen Fality? You will, if you unmute your end, please, so you could come on board. Thank you.
See if I can
okay, good. He's there.
Thank you.
Okay. So, yes, you good evening and welcome, sir. You will be the next topic for us is if you could talk to us about the ICC and what authority does it have, and just around the ICC, so you can bring some people up to speed about what the process involves and the organization and what they do. Thank you very much. Welcome on board.
Very well. Thank you very much, moderator. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stephen Fality. I just want to give us a brief overview of who or what the ICC is, what it does, and how it relates to our self-determination effort. The International Criminal Court, abbreviated as the ICC, is actually a branch of what is called ICJ, the International Court of Justice, which we generally know as the World Court. So let me go first to ICJ. The International Court of Justice is the principal judicial arm of the United Nations. It was created by a charter of the United Nations specifically to settle disputes between nations, rather than immediate resort to armed conflict. The International Court of Justice can be viewed as a court of equity, adjudicating cases, dispute between nations. Under the charter of the ICJ is what the ICC actually operates. A little bit behind, the ICJ, under the Charter of the United Nations, consists of about 15 judges selected from different parts of the member nations of the United Nations for a term of which I believe 9 years. And I stand corrected by some of the international law experts among us. I stand corrected on those numbers. But I know for certain it has a bench of 15 judges selected by chartered members of the United Nations. Now, under the ICJ is the International Criminal Court that is based at The Hague, which is actually the principal home of the World Court itself, The Hague in the Netherlands. The mission of ICC, the International Criminal Court, is actually to receive, investigate, adjudicate, and prosecute criminal cases. I've used the term criminal cases as an umbrella phrase.
Okay.
Receiving, investigating, and prosecuting criminal cases simply means cases of genocide, war, crimes against humanity, and human rights abuses.
Okay.
If we don't know what all those mean, all we needed to do is go back into old and recent history. The old history is the history of war crimes during the Jewish Holocaust, in which the International Criminal Court has brought a whole number of people, most of them near their grave, to answer for the crimes that they committed during the Holocaust. If that sounds more remote, we need to look at the recent history in Liberia by the person by the name of Charles Taylor.
Yes.
He's in the gallows somewhere now. Investigated, adjudicated, prosecuted and convicted for crimes against humanity, for all the atrocities that it has committed over the years. Compared to the ICJ, the International Criminal Court, its parent, which actually adjudicates and investigates equitable disputes between nations. The International Criminal Court, on the other hand, actually investigates cases of individuals. Sometimes political individuals, sometimes individuals with means that have actually used their resources to perpetrate all kinds of atrocities that has resolved into untold crimes against humanity. For example, in the Eastern Bloc back in the days of Czechoslovakia and Yugoslavia, yes, there were individuals there who were not political figures, but they just happened to be of such influential stature in the political machinery that they actually were prosecuted along with the political leaders and actually felt the brunt of the ICC judicial system. Fast forward to the current times. The International Criminal Court is the court that NINAS and a number of the self-determination organizations, of which NINAS is the umbrella, has filed petitions of war crimes against a number of individuals, headed, of course, by the person that we call Boo, President Muhammad Buhari of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yes, accusing him principally of a genocide, war crimes specifically, crimes against humanity, and religious persecution. Is essentially charges against those individuals can be brought by other individuals. It can be brought by institutions, both political, non-political, and NGOs. For example, the Yoruba Nation right now, NINAS are considered NGOs because we are actually seeking status as political institutions. So therefore, we still have legal standing to bring the cases. As such, we have brought and filed cases with the ICC charging President Muhammad Buhari, members of his cabinet, military leaders, and a whole number of political and military functionaries in the contraption that we call Nigeria to the court. The court, I don't remember the exact date, but the court has received and acknowledged our petition for investigation. The court has very broad powers and in conducting its investigations. As regards the status of the cases have been received, they have been acknowledged, and they are currently under investigation. The investigative powers of the ICC consist of both written and physical presence at different areas where the cases of crimes and other atrocities have been perpetrated. To that effect, prior to, contemporaneous with, and subsequent to even our filing of those petitions, the United Nations has sent delegations in conjunction with the ICC to Nigeria to actually get a first-hand look at the different atrocities. It has made its report both to the United Nations and also to the ICC in compiling evidence of the atrocities. Generally, even though the ICC has broad powers, its powers are virtually limited in prosecuting political leaders who are currently seated in a particular country. In other words, even though it's investigating cases against President Muhammad Buhari, it simply cannot do anything against President Buhari now until Buhari leaves office. So essentially what that does is lengthen the time that the ICC has at its disposal to continue the investigation, such that when Buhari leaves office, he becomes vulnerable to further investigative and arrest powers of the International Criminal Court. So at this point in time, the ICC is actually conducting its investigation of all the allegations of a genocide, crimes against humanity, and religious persecution
Stephen,
levied
start
against
wrapping up, please.
the Nigerian state. So we as the complainant do not have any leverage at this time to speed anything up, but we can always request the ICC on the status, either in writing or otherwise, to get a status. So in conclusion, I'll say all the petitions, apologize for that, ambulance, all the petitions that are on the record of the ICC are currently active and under investigation by the ICC. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stephen. AY, if I might correct something.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to
recording stopped.
I just want to be able to communicate the fact that the ICC actually started the investigation in Nigeria in 2010.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
indeed.
so 2010 is talking about it, and that was looking at Boko Haram.
Yeah.
And the Nigerian security forces. And
Yes.
I know that you're going to be taking us through the statement that they made in 2020.
Yes.
Because it's not really those who were there or who are, they do have jurisdiction to to political leaders, the governors, in fact, are also going to be subjected to that under that Rome statute that Nigeria signed. I think Nigeria signed it back in 2001, I believe.
2001, that's correct, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we are kind of like in that period where the ICC has actually issued this report, and I'll let you talk about that.
Okay.
Because there are specific things that they are going to be doing on that, and the things that we're going to be doing to see that the heat stays on is making sure that we're communicating all the new atrocities so that they can now kind of really see what's going on. And I know you're going to be talking about the statement and et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly.
So, but I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, that's good. Very, very valid point. And thanks for interjecting right there. It's very important that people get the background picture clear. So thank you very much for that. And thank you, Stephen Faleti, my order, for the work you did there. Much appreciated, sir. Thank you.
That was very good, Stephen.
Okay. That was pleasure.
Thank you, and thank you again to Jean. Now, I'm going to go and read into a bit more detail about the report by the ICC. Now, I'm going to, what I will try and do is I'm going to read through some of it, and I will try and, maybe flesh it out a little bit. But I don't want to spend too much time because I'm conscious of the time. But I'll try and do what I can. So what I will be looking at is the historic statement by the ICC, and we'll see, and then we'll look at and see what we can actually do. I will be focusing the ICC person.
Recording in progress.
She wrote some things, and I will look at. I'll be reading that text, and that way you can get a flavor of what has been done up to now, from 2001, 2010, the official report, and now. So you have to go back to go forward, if you like. Now, here goes. So she started off by saying today announced the conclusion of the preliminary examination of the situation in Nigeria. As I stated last year at the annual assembly of state parties before I end my term as a prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, ICC, I intend to reach determinations on all files that have been under preliminary examination under my tenure, as far as I'm able. In that statement, I indicated that the high likelihood that several preliminary examinations would progress to the investigative stage following a thorough process. I can announce today that the statutory criteria opening an investigation into the situation in Nigeria have been met. Specifically, my office has concluded that there is a reasonable basis. Very important. Listen to this particular word here. There is a reasonable basis to believe that members of Boko Haram and its splinter groups have committed the following acts, constituting crimes against humanity and war crimes: murder, rape, sexual slavery, including forced pregnancy and forced marriage, enslavement. And I'm thinking when you think about forced sexual slavery, forced marriage, you're thinking about the Chibok girls. I'm thinking about Shaibu, this kind of thing. Look, we need to connect. We have to connect this dot. And I'm telling you, as I'm reading this, I'm enraged, but I have to continue reading it. But I'm just trying to make sure you get an understanding. So you are connecting to the words that she's saying. We're giving you reference points. Now, okay, so we're saying including sexual slavery, including forced pregnancy and forced marriage, enslavement, torture, cruel treatment, outrages upon personal dignity, taking of hostages, intentionally directing attacks against the civilian population or against individual civilians not taking direct part in the hostilities, intentionally directing attacks against personnel, installations, materials, units or vehicles involved in a humanitarian assistance, intentionally
and there,
directing.
AY,
Yes.
if you recall,
Yes.
when they actually attacked the UN
They did.
that were providing aid, remember?
Exactly.
And they
remember,
killed
yes.
some of their.
And in fact, they killed. I think they killed 2 of the people there. If I remember.
Yes, absolutely,
That's correct.
absolutely.
So
And
these are-
they videoed that
they-
and sent that out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these are things, and these are the same people that they. Let's not forget. These are the same people that the government of Federal Republic of Nigeria has pardoned 17,000 at least minimum and counting, and they are pardoning them on a daily basis.
And what are they doing with them? Where are they putting them?
They're putting them in the south.
The
to go and do more
Nigerian
killings.
security forces.
Yes.
They're putting them in the Nigerian security
Yes,
forces, right?
Indeed.
Exactly.
Very key point.
Exactly.
I mean, just to even explain a little bit, elucidate the people about it, so you get a clear picture. What they do is when they go and kill in one town, they will hand the guns to the army. They will go and say, "We repent," and then the army will take them. And the army will make a statement, they've now been repented, and they say they've been reabsorbed back into the community. And what then happens is actually what Jean said there. They are now, instead of in community, they're absorbed into the army. And they are sent as forward men to go and kill in communities. With guns.
And provide information. If you recall, a lot of the attacks were because those quote unquote repentant Boko Haram and other terrorist groups, including the Fulani herdsmen, provide information, intel, because now they're in the army, they're in positions where they actually have intel, right?
Yeah, indeed.
And let's not forget, everyone needs to remember that Nigeria gets intelligence from the United States.
Indeed. So
it gets intelligence specifically about where these terrorists are going to be operating, and yet the Nigerian government has not been able to foil any attacks.
Wow.
I mean, the kidnappings that take hours, Nigerian government is not there.
Yeah.
They're killing people and burning down buildings. Nigerian government is not there. So what are they doing with the intelligence that the United States has given them?
Very good point.
So now you understand why the ICC is saying what it's saying, right?
Indeed.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Jen. Okay, so now we'll proceed a little bit more, and of course, we will interject in between too. All the time when we're doing this, please bear in mind we're trying to make sure that you can link what is happening on ground to the report, because it's really important to follow that process through. Okay, so now it's now saying here, beg your pardon, I just lost so it says I talked about cruel treatment, outrages on personal dignity, taking hostages, intentionally directing attacks against civilian population, against individual civilians, not taking direct part in hostilities, intentionally directing attacks against personnel, installations, materials, humanitarian assistance, intentionally directing attacks against buildings dedicated to education and to places of worship and similar institutions. A case in point, recently, we were talking about just a few days ago, they went into a church. They raped, in fact, we're hearing that there are 2 13-year-old girls and a woman that they raped. So, and this is part of what, and this is, we're talking about connecting the report to what is happening on ground. So that's it. Again, so you understand the urgency of the situation that we're in. It is not a joke. We need Southerners to be able to connect with that report and understand that everything we can do to empower the South to go for self-determination, i.e. assisting in making sure that we've tendered the request for the for referendum before the UN to get them to act. The more you are engaged in this process and you're aware of every single thing happening like we're doing now, and connecting what that report says to a live event, the more you are helping us, propelling us towards getting our, independence as Southerners. Very, very key
Right,
point.
and just to clarify what the New South is, the New South is from the Middle Belt to the Old South. So that's the New South. So that's what we're talking about. Is the New South is all those states other than the 12 contiguous states, bearing in mind that parts of those 12 contiguous states are actually in the New South because they're part of the Middle Belt.
They are, and because of the redrawing of the map done by the military and illegal drawings.
Exactly, they put so part of that Middle Belt into some of the into those far north states. Yes, that's true.
So it's unraveling the web of deceit, which is what they spawn, and we will get there, but we have to do it collectively. So, carrying on. Thanks again, Jean. Always, as ever, very, very, I like the points you made there. Now, so we're going to go into detail about this. Let me crack on a little bit because I'm conscious of the time. But of course, where we can, we'll put in the information, and that it's important that you follow what we're doing. And please do ask questions and leave comments. Myself or Jean and others will look at it and try and answer as much as we can. So now, so the place of worship, conscripting and enlisting children. Oh, man, I can't
That's
walk
a big one.
I can't walk past that. There was a video that I shared that I've talked about. A 16-year-old or 24-year-old said that when he finished Islamia, they was given his graduating certificate was an AK-47. This was what he said on a video in front of government officials at the place where they were pardoning so-called Boko Haram. He said when they finished Islamia that they were given weapons. They were given AK-47s, the government. So it's not us saying it. These are evidences.
So let's also talk about the reports all these years. They're not just using 15-year-olds, right? Remember the 10-year-old that the videotape that shot exactly. And they have also been taking kids. Did you see the video where they cut off the heads of the indigents?
Yes.
And they had young children,
doing
like maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And they gave them machetes to kill other children. Remember that?
Yeah.
And Almajiri, remember the Almajiris that were flowing into the South during the lockdown, which is how we were able to see them.
Yeah.
And we know that those are not Almajiri, those are child killers.
Yeah.
Okay, those are child killers. So we need to be aware of who is in our country and why. Why were they smuggling them in during the COVID lockdown, right?
Exactly.
Who are they going to be begging from?
Exactly.
They were smuggling them in
trucks, in
that was supposedly bringing food or cows, and then you open them, they're filled with Almajiri, right? And this is not our reports, guys.
Exactly.
This is the report from the borders of each of the states. The governors, all of their border patrol were reporting this influx, and they were really concerned about that. Okay, so we need to know when this report, what it's telling us. You need to understand, as AY said, they're talking about people that are in our neighborhoods right now.
Exactly.
Those are Marjories, those young Abokis, you know who they are. Okay, that's what the ICC is trying to tell us here.
Thank you. Thanks as ever, Jean. I truly appreciate that. Now, so Madupe
has her hand up.
She wants
to join the conversation. Go ahead, Madupe.
Go ahead. Madupe, go ahead. Let me.
Yes, please. Thank you. I just want to add quickly that as Jean mentioned earlier, that knowledge is power.
Yes.
I wish that we all knew about all of this, or this information were out there when we were voting back in 2015. As a matter of fact, I just want to talk quickly about two things. It's going to be very short.
Go ahead.
Back in 2012, right? Do we know? I mean, do you know that Buhari actually was picked? Was Sheikh Gumi at that time for Boko Haram? There was actually a report. You know what Sheikh Gumi does now?
Yeah.
Being spokesperson for the bandits.
Yes.
And the so-called bandits. Buhari was chosen as the spokesperson for Boko Haram. It's not a made-up story.
No.
It was reported, right, in the Nation's newspaper on November 2nd, 2012.
Wow.
I have to go and look for that one.
Please,
Another
if you do, yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
Yes. Then another one was, Buhari making a statement on June 2nd, 2013, that they should stop killing Boko Haram members. He actually said that, and I'm going to quickly say that, he actually said that, that the Niger Delta militants were never killed, or their properties or properties belonging to them were never destroyed. So why are you killing Boko Haram people? So the handwritings were on the wall even before this time, and that's why Buhari must be investigated and Buhari must be held accountable, because it was in his plan all along to promote terrorism in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Modukwe. That's very, very key important. The president, the impact of what he's saying right there is that the president of Nigeria actually was pleading that they stop killing Boko Haram. He in effect was the spokesperson, the role that Gumi has now taken. I see Gumi as a field marshal. Whilst we're in the middle of this discussion, he's very much a field marshal, the person that's out there, getting them up and positioning them all over the south to try and go and do the genocide. And the government supports him. He actually has his own. Do you know that? How many of you know that Gumi has got security detail? He's got security detail that goes around with him. When he's walking, when I say security. Sorry?
I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised that he has that.
Yeah. So
I'm not surprised at all.
When he's walking around a large crowd of people, they've got two guys dressed in like CIA kind of thing, next to his car, walking close to the car. They walk for him into the car, shut the door, and they step with the car until it speeds up. I mean, this is crazy. This is sickening. But anyway, I will pull back from that. Let me go into this report, and please, anybody who wants to have any interject, please go ahead. We'll try and just try and think of the time. So let me see. They use 15-year-olds, using them to participate actively in hostilities, persecution on gender, religious grounds, and other inhumane acts. While my office recognizes the vast majority of the criminality within the situation is attributable to non-state actors, we have also found the reasonable basis to believe that members of the Nigerian Security Forces, NSF, have committed the following acts constituting crimes against humanity and war crimes: murder, rape, torture, and cruel treatment, enforced disappearance, forcible transfer of population, outrages upon personal dignity, intentionally directing attacks against civilian population as such, and against civilians not taking direct part in the hostilities, unlawful imprisonment, conscripting and enlisting children under the ages of 15 into the armed forces and using them to participate actively in hostilities, persecution on gender and political grounds, and other inhumane acts. This is a terrible indictment of all the armed forces of Nigeria. They say Nigerian security forces. That I'm talking air. I'm talking
crimes.
it is war crimes.
War crimes. So that's what the ICC said right there.
Yeah.
It rises to the level of war crimes. This isn't against another hostile country.
Yeah.
This is war crimes against the indigenous Nigerians, the citizens of Nigeria, the people that own the land.
Indeed. It is horrifying. It is horrifying. I mean, just thinking about that alone, they are using children, putting them in the army, giving them weapons. Gumi has directed people, a group of people. I've seen videos where kids as young as 7, 8 have been part of the people that have gone to raid armed barracks where where they're having the weapons, and they've taken it and they're shooting in the air with children in these videos, and there is no military men around, but they're in a military base. I want you to think about that. Children, and the Nigerian military and the federal government are aware They direct when new weapons comes in, instead of the Nigerian army people, southerners, to get those weapons, guess what? They tell everybody to stay away. They tell the Fulani terrorists to go in there, raid it, break the door open, take every single weapon. And guess what they will use the weapon against? Who would they use against?
The indigenous.
Thank you very much.
Not the non-indigenous, because we have not seen any of the Boko Haram or especially the Fulani herdsmen.
That's it.
They have been arrested by citizens. They have handed them over to the police, and it ends right there.
Right there.
No prosecutions. And I keep saying this.
Yeah.
Back in February of this year, Buhari said that, that the police needs to, list all this long list of the Fulani herdsmen who are going through the court system.
They can't list
It's November.
They can't
and we're
list
still
anything.
waiting.
They can't.
It's November. We're still waiting. They haven't published anything.
No.
Because we haven't seen anything, right?
No.
It's not in the papers.
No.
Nothing is happening there. These are non-indigenous Nigerians. They don't come from the land.
Exactly.
And it's the indigents, okay?
Who have been...
And let's talk about, there's a thing that you talked about here. Forcible transfer of population.
Thank you.
There's a lot of things that we're talking about there, right?
I on that particular point, I want to reference Macbilla. Macbilla was refused by Ahmed Wase from tabling a motion whereby Macbilla was going to talk about the displacement of Tiv people in Tiv land.
Yes.
Raised by Tiv people in US.
Yes.
Ahmed Wase had the temerity and they say, and for those of you who think that he's a deputy speaker, please get that right. In paper, he is. In reality, he's the one heading he's the speaker of the house. Because to date, Badamia Miller has not once questioned him about the flagrant abuse of his position.
Absolutely.
I state that, I stand and I say that categorically. I was bewildered when Badamia Miller Femi Badamia Miller could not call his deputy to order. And the reason is because the
deputy is the real speaker.
He's the real speaker. And we need to be, these are the kind of things that we need to be addressing. So anyway, but I'll again, let me pull back.
Yeah, but then we're talking about, like the transfer IDP camps. Over 4 million have been removed from their land.
Exactly.
Right?
That is.
And put in IDP camps.
That's it.
Why hasn't the government removed the people who's on their land and returned the indigents? Why are the Fulani herdsmen still sitting there?
They wouldn't even let them table it. They didn't let them
I remember there's another transfer that we're talking about.
Yeah.
The one that the Bauchi governor talked about. Yeah. Bringing all Fulani from around the world into Nigeria because all Fulani are related and using Nigeria money
to take care of them. I mean,
Ruga,
it's sickening.
Right? Ruga is a government giving money to non-indigenous. What farmers has received free money from the government that are indigenous? Which one? Exactly. But we're going to give money to non-indigenous people coming from Mali, Somalia, wherever they want to come from. They're bringing them in by the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, right? And using our money. I don't know how many of you were here when we watched the video that the Jonathan Asake of the Sokapu played this video of how they took 70 hectares of land. Developing it into this frightening thing, right? That nobody, and the people that own the land are displaced by the government.
I mean,
by the government, and no one is allowed to go in there, right?
No.
So we have transfer of our people, of the indigenous people off their land, bringing in the non-indigenous from all around, giving them the land of the indigenous people. And I see Stephen wants to join the conversation.
Yeah, okay. Stephen, let me put let me just get you on screen. Sorry if I do not.
Yeah, he's right there. That's okay. Stephen, just
thank you.
Speaking.
Okay, go ahead. Speak and I'll add you. In fact, you know what? Let me make it a gallery so we can pick you up. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I have a question because Jane made a comment not long ago that caught my attention and used the phrase preaching to the choir. Ever since, for the last several months, that have been present at this town hall, I have received and heard very startling revelations about the depth of the atrocities that are being committed. Now, going back to that phrase, preaching to the choir, there are only 23 choir members in this organization. Do we have a strategy in place to bring these revelations to the congregation of Alliance members' consciousness?
Yes, we're actually live right now, and so we've got lots of people watching.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
we also send out the links so that they can be getting the information as well. So that's why we do this on an ongoing basis. And they're out on YouTube, and people are watching live as we are going through the program right now as well.
Yeah.
But having said that, we definitely are calling all of the bloggers, calling everyone that's got a YouTube channel to kind of plug into this so that we can reach more people. Because that's what's important. As you know, Stephen, as you've been coming a few times, and you know that the information that we give here is vital. It's not just talking about the referendum, but it's also giving people information that will impassion them.
Very eye-opening.
Yes, I will impassion them to really want to be part of the process and to bring freedom. So that's why Freedom from Nigeria is all about. It's about getting our people to understand. At the same time, we're also educating the world, so the world can really hear our narrative. Okay. So right now, Donald is saying we have 117 people watching on YouTube right now.
Fantastic.
And typically we have over 2,000, sometimes 5,000 people that actually view the videos.
They will do. Yes.
And that's just on Njenje's media. We don't actually track.
I mean, there's 110 watching on YouTube right now on Oduduwa TV Radio. Then we'll restream later on Facebook because I couldn't get on because there was a program earlier on.
Exactly.
So, but there will be more people watching. So there's.
But we need everyone. We need the bloggers. We need people on Twitter, because once we're doing this and we can tweet out the link and send the link out to people so they can watch as well. And we'll be talking about the things that we can do. Thank you, Stephen. We do have a section where we're going to talk about the things that we need to do.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so
Abdeen has raised their hand.
Okay, Abdeen, let me just bring you in again. So let me see those. Okay, go ahead, Abdeen. We can hear you. Unmute your end. Unmute and then go ahead with your.
You have to be on camera, please.
Be on camera. We'd very like to. We'd like you to have you on camera, Abdeen. Where were you? Okay, Abdeen, unmute and make yourself be available on camera, please. Can you unmute yourself? Can you do that, Abdeen? I'm not so sure if he.
Let me see. No, he should be unmuted now.
Yeah, he's.
But he might not be able to speak.
Yeah, he may not.
I don't see him talking.
No. Okay.
No, actually, he's still muted.
Okay, so I will. Okay, if he wants to, when he wants to, we'll come back.
Yeah,
to
he's
him.
still muted. Okay.
All right. I'll remove him from the. Now, I just want to go back over that particular point. See, the points we raised now, in all of what we said now, the people would not have been displaced if the army was not physically involved.
Absolutely.
That is a very important link we must make. And that is why there's a justification in putting genocide, war crimes against the army of Nigeria. This is clear justification. When they move a group of people and then using legislative terms, unjustly to prevent things being tabled, and the army now backing that up by making sure that the people do not return to their own land, that is war crime.
Or even bringing the people they bring the people into the area with armed security.
Exactly.
So that the indigents cannot complain,
Exactly.
right? They cannot do anything about it. The security forces bring in these non-indigenous people to take possession of the forest and to be killing people.
Indeed.
Okay.
Well, exactly. So these are key things. It's important in your mind so that when you play, look, please, what we're doing here is not for you to watch. We want you to partake in it, make notes, share this broadcast, because what we're saying here is we are translating what the ICC has written on paper. We are connecting the dots for you. Don't just leave it for you to just observe and take in here. Share it, because this is our information. These are very, very powerful information that you can use to wake up our fellow Southerners right across the whole of that southern contraption. And in fact, those who are in the north, they need to be aware of what is going on.
The indigenous northerners,
yes.
yeah, because they've been under apartheid much longer than the rest of us.
Exactly.
Much longer.
Exactly. So
Yes.
that's very, very important. So I'm just going to read the last bit. So they're using the underage children to commit actively in hostilities, persecution on gender and political grounds, and other inhuman acts. These allegations are also sufficiently grave to warrant investigation by my office, both in quantitative and qualitative terms. My office will provide further details in our forthcoming annual report on preliminary examination activities. I can't wait to see that report. I just can't wait. Now, the preliminary examination has been lengthy, not because of the findings on crime. Indeed, as early as 2013, the office announced its findings on crimes in Nigeria, which have been updated regularly since. The duration of the preliminary examination, opened since 2010, was due to the priority given by my office in supporting the Nigerian authorities in investigating and prosecuting these crimes domestically.
There's some really good information that they provided here. There's a very important. Keep going,
Yes,
AY.
yeah,
They made a very important comment
yes.
here.
It has always been my conviction that the goals of the Rome Statute are best served by states executing their own primary responsibility to ensure accountability at the national level. I have repeatedly stressed my aspiration for the ability of the Nigerian judicial system to address, I am sorry.
Keep going, it gets good.
These alleged crimes. We have engaged in multiple missions to Nigeria to support national efforts, shared our own assessments, and invited the authorities to act. We have seen some efforts made by the prosecuting authorities in Nigeria to hold members of Boko Haram to account in recent years, primarily against low-level captured fighters for membership in a terrorist organization. The military authorities have also informed me that they have examined and dismissed allegations against their own troops. Okay, all right. I know. Yeah, let me just, I cannot say anything.
But is the ICC buying it?
That's the thing.
Are they buying that?
That is it. That was the thing that, so let's go ahead. So I have given ample time for these proceedings to progress, bearing in mind the overarching requirements of partnership and vigilance that must guide our approach to complementarity. However, our assessment is that none of these proceedings relate, even directly, to the forms of conduct.
Even indirectly,
to the forms of conduct or categories of persons that would likely form the focus of my investigations. And
can you say that again? I think you need to say that again so that people understand what she's saying.
Let me read that again. I'll read that whole line again. I have been given ample time for these proceedings to progress, bearing in mind the overarching requirements of partnership and vigilance that must guide our approach to complementarity. However, our assessment is that none of these proceedings relate even indirectly to the forms of or categories of persons that would likely form the focus of my investigations. And while this does not foreclose the possibility for the authorities to conduct relevant and genuine proceedings, it does mean that, as things stand, the requirements under the statute are met for my office to proceed. Now, Jean, maybe you may want to, I'll let you step in here and talk, and I want to say a few things.
In clear English, she's saying we gave them time from way back in 2013 to correct the issues, and all they were doing is playing games. They brought in some low-level people. They dismissed allegations and did nothing. And so now, after giving them 7 years since 2013, we are now saying it's time for the external forces to take charge. because you can't trust the Nigerian security forces to do what they're supposed to do. That's
you.
pretty much what they're saying here, is that we have given up on them. They are not going to do what they're doing is smoke and mirrors. It doesn't even impact anything that we're telling them to do. And we have made several missions to Nigeria. Nothing has changed. This is important for our people to know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many people know that the ICC have been working with Nigeria, giving them information, and what are they doing with it? Discarding it, right?
Yeah.
And even when they do capture the Boko Haram, we've talked about what they do with them.
Yeah.
They call them repentant.
Exactly. And they let
give
them go.
Money and clothing, and then give them a job in the Nigerian security forces. And you wonder why it still continues. They're building up more and more and more terrorists into the Nigerian security forces. And remember what T.Y. Danjuma, AY?
Yes,
what T.Y. Danjuma said, right? In
they collude.
Yes. They said the Nigerian armed forces are not for you. That's what he said, right?
With the Boko
he
Haram.
said they are not, do not get it twisted, as the Americans would say. Don't get it twisted. The Nigerian security forces are not for you because they are colluding with those who are coming to invade. And it is an invasion. Are we not talking about an invasion? Transferring people from their land, bringing in non-indigenous people onto the land, right? And putting the indigenous people into squalid. I mean, I cry when I see the conditions that this government is leaving people that these terrorists have destroyed their homes, destroyed their farms, killed their people. And the government is doing nothing to support. We have over 4 million. Over 4 million. Do you know what that number means? That means there's over 2 million children in that number.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's right here in the ICC report. And which is why, like I said, we continue to look at these things.
Yeah.
So that we can provide the information to our people. I mean, these are not things we're making up.
No, these are
We're
reports.
reading it from the ICC report.
Yeah.
But a lot of our people didn't even know that this was issued in December 2020.
Yeah.
And unless we, the people, who are Ninas, are spreading this information. So everybody here needs to be spreading the information. Right?
Very, very critical. I want to add something. There is a general, Commodore Olakunle, I believe. Kunle Olakunle, Ola something. He came out and he's in hiding now. He exposed the fact that the government was allowing Fulani terrorists under the guise of religious prayers to go into all military bases across the whole country. They've been doing it for years.
Yes, that
years.
is true. Remember what happened at the NDA?
Yes, same thing.
Supposedly the guards were sleeping.
No,
what military guy have you ever seen sleep on duty?
No.
Where are the court marshals?
Exactly.
Did we hear about the court marshals?
No. You won't hear it.
So, but all of them were sleeping.
Exactly.
And then all of the security footages obviously went to sleep as well.
Gone. Miraculously gone. Funny that. So now it's important that we are making references to the points that Jean made. The 4 million figure, please keep that in mind.
Over 4 million.
4 million displaced.
Over 4 million.
4 million displaced. And she said 2 million of them are children. 2 million. And that's, we're talking, middle belt area, all of that. I mean, this is, look, let's just
we have over 400,000 that are refugees in other countries.
You see that now?
So now we're looking at more like 5 million people that are,
So every time that we turn the other way and we do not work together as Southerners, we are ensuring that more land is being taken from Southerners every single day by this Fulani fraudulent non-indigenous governance. We need to take collective action together. We really do. This ICC report is damning. Now, I'll carry on and read it, but in between, we'll be giving you facts and things for you to contend to make sure it relates to this report at every stage, so you know that this is a live report. Now, let's carry on. Thanks again, and anybody wants to add something, please do let us know, and we will, of course,
Actually, what I'm trying to add is not very relevant, but the fact that the new prosecutor in ICC, has been known to be a figure that defended people that committed atrocities.
Oh,
There are some concern about that. That he's a defender of war criminals. But
oh,
I guess
that's another thing. That's a worry right there. But thanks for bringing that to our attention. That's something we need to contend with. But nonetheless, we shouldn't let it deter us. I think in the end, my saying is this: we can bring the world this to the attention of the world, but and in the end, I think we need to bring it to ourselves so that collectively we can take the action. When we take the action, the world will be embarrassed to take action to support us. If we don't take that action, the world will say, they'll pretend they might have had this. Oh, they didn't really understand the impact. It's when we, as Southerners, collectively put our efforts together, bring the world attention, and make sure the world sees what is happening, and make sure that we start taking, redressing that balance, then the world will have no choice but to take to come and actually do the things we are asking for as Southerners. So I just wanted to just put that there. Thank you very much for that, Eugene. I appreciate that. So the next thing now, moving forward, the next step will be to request authorization from judges of the pre-trial chamber of the court to open investigations. The office faces to open investigations. Do you understand what that means? They do not trust anything that is coming from the Nigerian government. None of them. So they are going to open their own investigations. That means that whatever the Nigerian government is telling you now is a pack of lies to continue their genocidal activities. And the ICC are aware of it. So we're not just saying this. They are going to open their investigations. The office faces situations where several preliminary examinations have reached or are approaching the same stage at a time when we remain gripped by operational challenges brought on by COVID-19 pandemic on the one hand, and the limitations of our operational capacity due to the overextended resources on the other. This is also occurring in the context of pressures the pandemic is placing on the global economy. Against this backdrop, in the immediate period ahead, we will need to take several strategic and operational decisions on the prioritization of the office's workload, which also duly take into account the legitimate expectations of victims and affected communities as well as the stakeholders. This is a matter that I will also discuss with the incoming prosecutor once elected. As part of the transition discussions I intend to have, in the interim, my office will continue to take the necessary measure to ensure the integrity of future investigations in relation to the situation in Nigeria. Keyword: integrity of future investigations in relation to the situation in Nigeria. Meaning, again, I state, they do not have any confidence in the Nigerian authorities, whether they will get a fair discussion about what is really happening, or they are going to project their own view. They cannot trust it. So they are relying on their own investigations. And of course, in the time of COVID with heavy workload, we understand what that means. But this is, again, every Southerner watching this, we need to understand that the workload, it is down to you and me. The the ICC, they have a workload. They will only come in when they can. But if you and I start making that known, those videos, those clips, those villages, towns, if you hear anything, reach out to the media. Let us know. We bring it out there. We start coordinating our activities. In the end, it is down to you and I to do this work as Southerners. It is. Now, so I mean, again, I don't know if you saw a report today. Buhari was saying about COVID-19 was causing them problems in being able to do the things they wanted to do, and they need funding and everything else. And we know what they do with the funding. We, of course, know where the funding is going. Every single penny that this government can put together is used to pay for military weapons, for Boko Haram, for terrorists, for ISWAP, for Fulani, for all of them. To target Southerners, to target indigenous people. We need to understand that to stand by and just say, oh, this is past the point of prayer. The point we are now is it's past the point of prayer. It's a point where we need to work together. Yes, you can pray, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But prayer with action. Prayer with action. Don't just pray. We need
Well,
to get
AY,
involved.
if you recall the information I just sent to you
Yeah.
about the law that the Benue governor has put in place.
Yeah, yes, we're gonna go into that. In fact, I mentioned that. Yes, I will mention that briefly. And I think I
But
talked
we
about
have
it.
Thomas, who is from the Middle Belt.
Yes, yes,
Thomas,
Thomas.
if you want to
Yeah, please. Would you? We'd like to hear from you,
join
Thomas.
us.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, please, Thomas. Go ahead,
Yeah,
please. Yes.
yeah. Thank you, and good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Go ahead, my brother. Yes. If you wouldn't mind, would you mind coming on camera? Because it will be more powerful and impactful if you don't mind. Is that okay? Or are you back home?
He is in Nigeria.
Okay, don't worry. Then that's fine. Don't worry. We don't want to give any. I think, Jean, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I know Thomas. Thomas, what's happening? We seem to be losing you here.
Yeah. I don't want to. He doesn't need to show if it's back home. I was thinking if it was that, but
That's actually him, really.
I know it's him. I know that.
I seriously
Okay, there you go.
apologize.
There you go.
Okay.
I may not be able to come on camera. I apologize for that.
That's fine. You go ahead. That's fine. That's
Yeah,
okay.
the host will observe that I've been coming in and out.
Yes.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
some
We've had a
time.
lot of people dropping out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, personally, in my own situation, is because of the reports I'm just receiving of the ongoing attack in southern Borno on the Christian-dominated communities, very close to Chibok. Now, the attack began since yesterday. Yes, there's military presence there, but the military seems not to actually be up and doing. And Boko Haram came today. Boko Haram and ISIS, they came today. They started attacking a community of over 144,000 people. So since morning 8 o'clock, they've been there. And I just learned, because it was confirmed, that they killed a brigadier general.
Yes.
Alongside with other military personnel. So, but one thing I want us to know tonight, because I got this feedback from an eyewitness report from that area, that 99% of the attackers, the terrorists that came, are foreigners.
99%.
99% are foreigners.
We've been hearing that over and over. These are non-indigenous Fulani invading the land. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So our political leaders will go on the media to spread all kinds of lies, like the governor of Borno State.
Yes.
Yeah.
Governor Zulum.
Yes.
Who said that the situation in Borno State right now is calm. And by 4th of January, everybody, those that are living in IDP camps will go back to their villages.
Right.
But the villages are on fire right away.
Yes.
As we are speaking right now, attack.
I certainly hope that they are getting some videos so that we can, and that's why we're doing this thing, so that we can continue to keep the international community, that these things are escalating. Okay, these are not heard of former conflicts. This is an invasion by non-indigenous people. This is an outright invasion. I mean, how can you on a daily basis talk about a conflict when the only people that are dying are the indigenous people?
Oh, yes.
That's a war.
It is.
So
it's
a war. It's a genocide on the indigenous people
exactly.
in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll work on getting videos and pictures from the scene.
Yeah.
So that we'll be able
to show it to the world. We'll definitely be changing on the platforms.
Right, but I think we're kind of running out of time. Let's talk about what Governor Autumn has done.
Quickly, can I just
please them online for the international communities to see and know what we're talking about? Yeah. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks,
no, thank you so much.
That's really sad.
I just want to add something. The name of the general brigadier that was killed was General Zama Zikushu. He was the commander of the 28th Brigade of the Task Force Chibok. He was killed. They killed the general along with 3 other soldiers as they were on their way to reinforce the troops in village of Bunguwa near Askira Uba. I hope is
yes,
that correct?
sir.
Is that correct?
Very correct, sir.
Okay.
Very correct.
Okay. Thank you
Yes,
very
sir.
much. Listen,
And,
I appreciate you. Please be safe out there. With my brother, I want you to be safe. Thomas, stay safe. And please do send us the reports. We appreciate that. Thank you so much.
And,
Okay.
and of course, you know that the Boko Haram people and the terrorists they placed into the Nigerian army, they always reveal movement of troops when they're going on this attack, and that's why they easily kill them.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I wanted to ask is if there's a way we can put a little pressure on the International Criminal Court by sending them new information and bombarding them with messages to take action, because it's getting
it's overwhelming,
out of control that people are. I mean, I don't know who's going to be left.
Yeah, and that's their plan. We mustn't. And this cause we from what we're seeing now, from the evidence placed by Thomas just now, this attack in Borno, where he talked about the general, which I've mentioned just now, and over 140-something thousand people being killed and villages being burned. We can no longer rely on any of our political leaders in the South because they're not addressing the issues. That is why
Therefore, we need to send this information quickly and bombard the International Criminal Court with all this new happening to see if they can, hasten the action they are taking. It's one of my suggestion.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Eugene. I appreciate this. Okay, so let me, I will thank you for that interjection again, as ever. So, and also, Thomas, thank you so much. If you do have any updates for us, Thomas, again, please do just, raise your hand, leave a comment, and we'll bring you on board straight away. Let me... Thank you. So let me just, I'll bring Jean, in case Jean may want to come in. Let me just quickly get Jean on board. 1 second, please. I'm just trying to... Oh, where is she? Okay, she's here. I'll just add her and I will carry on for a minute. So I want to read this second. Read this last bit, then we can close out. But then I want to go and talk about the report from the Governor Autumn, because that's a hopeful point for us. So let me just finish this one. The Icc report. I want to close that out. So it says here, the predicament we're confronted with due to capacity constraints underscores the clear mismatch between the resources afforded to my office and the ever-growing demands placed upon it. It is a situation that requires not only prioritization on behalf of the office, to which we remain firmly committed, but also open and frank discussions with the Assembly of States, parties, and other stakeholders of the Rome Statute system on the real resources needed of my office in order to effectively execute its statutory mandate. As we move towards the next steps concerning the situation in Nigeria, I count on the full support of the Nigerian authorities, as well as the Assembly of State parties, more generally on those whose support the court ultimately depends. And as we look ahead to the future investigations in the independent and impartial exercise of our mandate, I also look forward to a constructive and collaborative exchange with the government of Nigeria to determine how justice may best be served under the shared framework of complementary domestic and international action. I will have to say to you, I have no confidence whatsoever in anything that will come from the Nigerian government, because their agenda is to land grab across the whole of the South. And we have to be very, very, very conscious of that. However well-intentioned the actions of the ICC are, and whatever their priorities, they are, from their own point of view, they are not at the cold face, as it were. We are the ones at the cold face. That responsibility almost ultimately falls on you and I, to make sure that we collectively are bringing in as much information to get to the world, doing as much as we can to empower people to actually protect themselves against these attacks, because they're incessant. You just had Bono and the Governor Zulum saying, oh, they will be moving people back they'll send them back to their homes from IDP camps. To where? You heard Jean said, 100,000 square, what do you say, 100,000 square meters?
70,000.
70,000.
70,000.
You see, 70,000 cleared, and the people cannot
and
go
the
back.
report that we have is that they have now taken over 132,000
Doubled it.
acres of farmland alone.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is so that report is damning. We share. I mean, we may share it, and I think we can even. Should we have the link out for people to look at themselves, or what do you think?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Which
so
one? Which link did you want?
I'm talking about the ICC report itself. Is
Yeah.
that
Okay.
something-
I can provide the link
Yeah.
here.
So if you do want to, just reach out to Jean, and she can provide that to you. These are things
I'm
that
gonna
we should
post
read.
it here.
Yeah. So these are things that we need to really look at. Now, quickly because of only for time purposes, I want to talk about something very hopeful. What Governor Otom did is a very hopeful development, and I want to really quickly go over that, and if I may, just to quickly give you a bit more, idea of what he did, and how that is a very, very good move. So basically, there was he basically looked into. I may not go into it in great detail, but I'll try. He looked at the laws as a currency stand in Benue State. He looked at the laws as a stand with the increasing killings of Benuans by Fulani terrorists, ISIS, ISWAP, Boko Haram. So he's been asking the government to allow them to protect themselves. So he actually changed the law. So this is what I want to look at now. I want to mention that. So let me read that to you. So this is something that, and again, we urge every single Southern governor to take a leaf out of Governor Otom's books. I'm sure Jane will actually support me in saying this. We
Absolutely. We've been talking about this.
Yes.
The government says they cannot protect you.
Exactly.
Governors in the
Exactly.
the New South.
Exactly.
Take charge.
Exactly.
Arm your people.
Exactly. So
you have the right to do that.
Exactly. And that's exactly what Governor Otom did. He didn't wait. He couldn't wait any longer because he knew that every day that he waited, they were killing thousands of the people. So what he did, he says, Governor Otom, as Benue Governor Otom, Samuel Otom, signed amended law to allow volunteer guards to bear arms. Very, very important. Every governor in the South, take note. Every Southern governor, take note. If Governor Otom can amend the law in his state, so can you. No excuses. No excuses. Is that right? Am I right, Jean? Am I right?
Yes, none.
Okay. So Samuel Otom, governor of Benue State, on Tuesday, October 26, assented to the amended Community Volunteer Guards Law of the state, allowing local guards to carry weapons legally, recognized by the Constitution. The law was first passed in 2000 by the State House of Assembly and assented to by George Akume, former governor of Benue. But Otom says it has become pertinent to amend the law to aid the guards complement the grossly inadequate conventional security agents in the fight against insecurity. Otom added that the traditional rulers would oversee the recruitment of the guards as it is community based. So you see, it's not just giving them guns. He's coming up with a clear strategy and a plan as to how they would recruit each of the people who are going to be community guards. And this is very, very important because some other people say, "Oh, you're giving guns to anybody," but we know that what's happening with the Fulani terrorists, the Boko Haram, ISWAP. That's what the government is doing. They're bringing people from outside. Governor Bala Mohammed, that's what he said. That's what he said. Bring by. You're welcome in. Code for come in. We'll give you weapons. We'll give you arms. Take the land. So what he's doing is actually very, very a very good step, and we want every single governor. Don't think out of the box now. Just follow. Don't reinvent the wheel. The wheel is in front of you. Just copy it. That is it. That's all we're asking you to do. So now, so where am I now? So now those to be recruited must be within the age bracket of 18 to 50 years and should have a means of livelihood, Otom said. I warn the guards to do the work devoid of politics. Again, we know how they use that politics game again, because that is the speciality of the government the governors that we're under. So those of you against Southerners, if you are not safe, then you have nothing. So your focus is in each of the states, when you are, if you are tasked with the job of providing safety and security, let that be your focus. Do not be swayed by the politics of money to make you drop your guard and then leave your people defenseless. That's what we mean, in case you don't understand. Now, okay. So, and it says here, in the past, Autumn has been in favor of Nigerians being allowed to carry AK-47 in self-defense, and also as Benue indigents to carry guns and defend themselves from Fulani herdsmen and gunmen. So that is,
it is too much.
It is too much. If the government, like I said, you heard me say it, when they leave Islamia all over the north, they graduate with AK-47. I kid you not.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the video where the Fulani herdsmen, those that have been around for a long time, said, we don't use guns. They came and they gave us this gun.
That's
the government gave us the guns. You saw the video.
I saw that video. That's exactly the video I'm talking about. And this is happening all over the north. It's
this is a different one. This is the older Fulani herdsmen.
Older, slightly older. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. That they did not have these AK-47. That the government came and gave it to them.
Exactly.
They gave it to them.
Exactly. The government.
And then what about what has happened to Buhari's shoot on sight? Apparently, it's only indigenous that can find them with these weapons.
Exactly.
They turn them in, and then nothing happens. But we've got a couple of people who have questions. We've got our comments.
Yes.
We've got we only have 8 more minutes.
Okay, so let me
wants to make a comment, and then Paul.
Yeah, let me bring them on. Let me bring them on straight away.
So let's give them an opportunity to join us.
Yeah. Okay. So go ahead, and then Dupe again. So now let me
unmute
yourself. Unmute yourself and please join the discussion. Go ahead. Yeah, my sister, you can unmute.
Are you referencing me?
Yes,
or?
yes.
Yeah, go ahead, and then Paul will speak after you.
I just wanted to say that Governor Autumn, establishing that in his territory is the step in the right direction.
Yes.
But I want us to also believe that our Southwest governors, they've done that in the through Amotekun, but they are not, but they haven't been, I would say they've been cowardly in their.
They were boxing.
Well, the guns that they're giving them is no match for the guns that is no match for the AK-47. Yeah. They need similar weapons.
Yeah.
Okay. So actually, that's what I was about to say is that. They started Amotekun, but then the federal government, prevented them from, interfered and prevented them from actually, allowing Amotekun to do the exact thing that Governor Autumn is asking for. So I believe that it is time for our Southwest governors to, to shake away their fears or whatever it is. Their cowardice.
Yeah.
And be bold enough to say, if we establish, a separate security, personnel or apparatus for our region, we also need to equip them with the appropriate, arms and the and the tools that they need to protect our people. Yeah. Because what is it right now is a joke. So I believe that they need to follow the footsteps of Governor Autumn.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mudukwe, my sister. I appreciate that. Okay. My brother, Paul, please go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've heard what you guys are talking about. It's a whole lot of trouble in the country. Insecurity everywhere. They are just killing all the way. But I just want to report about my own area in Imo State. What is going on in my own
please.
village.
Yes, please. Yes.
I sent a WhatsApp message about 2-3 weeks ago that the army has been coming to my village for some months now. It's almost like a daily occurrence. They are coming after IPOB ECN men who, yes, they are somewhere within the forest area, but they are not disturbing the community. They say their plan is to keep away herdsmen from that area. But our governor, the way he assumed power through the Supreme Court,
yes,
all of us believe that this Buhari regime planted him to do their will. So they bring him. So the man went to Abuja to request for the army to come to Imo State. So the army has been coming to my area. In fact, as far as I'm speaking with you now, people are no longer, many have fled their home because If they don't see these ESM men, they go into the community and shoot at villagers, kill, burn houses.
Yeah, we're
September
not
13th,
calling for the government to send forces because we already know, we've already been told that they're compromised, they're colluding.
Yes, they are
We want
compromised.
our own people, the indigents of the land, to protect themselves.
Yeah,
exactly.
The government, I mean, did not the Minister of Defense say that they cannot protect the people?
Yeah.
He said so.
They've been coming for some time now. They've been burning houses. They run into people who are going to church. Like they killed one young man because they asked him, go show us where if the boy told them that he's just coming from mass, evening mass or so.
Yeah.
They just shot the boy dead. They come with helicopter, gunships, armored cars, and Hilux vehicles. And then they just ransack places. They'll go into some homes, see elderly widows, and ask them, where are the young men in this house? They'll tell them that our boys are not around. They will leave. Sometimes they will make some crazy noise.
Yeah, I have heard that actually because I have some people in
yes,
Imo,
this is happening in my
and
own.
they have, and they say
it's happening in my village as I speak. My elder brother is in the east, is in Owerri. So at the moment now we've managed to. My mom is 84.
Oh my gosh.
We managed to move him out. I cried the day my brother told me how they took her out. They had to get a motorbike.
Yes.
And one of our relatives was with her in the motorbike, and they took her to my dad's elder sister's hometown. She's there now. This woman has not left her home since she got married, only coming and whatever. She's no longer there. Many people have fled the home. They only come back once in a while when they have heard from people who refuse to go, who say, no, this is our home, cannot go. If you have any issue with the ESM boys, go after them in the forest, leave people to go about their business. So as it is now, the governor is not making any effort. Our member, the man from our local government representing us in the State House of Assembly, is not doing anything. They are all compromised. The one at the House of Reps, he's a former customs officer. His name is Jerry Alabo, so he's not doing anything at all. So it's really, we are just on our own. So
this is where the the social structure needs to step in, right?
Yeah.
This is where the Ohaneses and the and different organizations like that need to step in. In the southeast, they have the Ohanese and they have the
Ohanese and Igbo and all that. Yeah. But it appears they're not doing anything. Imo State in particular has a peculiarity. Since this governor came in, it's like he has managed to shut down all
the Supreme Court governor. Candidate number 4.
Yes,
exactly. Governor.
Yeah.
So I don't know why the man has managed. People are living in fear. In fact, in the state, because anybody who opposes the man tends to use the military against them. So, but I don't know.
Well, like I said, we need to actually get to closing up. So, guys, let's just.
Jane, I will send you more videos of.
Please do.
Okay, yeah, because we need to be on Twitter. We need to be on TikTok. We need to be on Instagram. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about.
Exactly.
With the ICC, we're going to send out information on their address, their email, their Twitter handle. Yeah. Everybody that's in the Alliance territory needs to be doing this.
Yes, exactly.
Your fax number, phone number. We need to be calling them and giving them updates as to what's actually going on. And this needs to be accelerated. Yeah. We need to be talking to the UN. Yeah. It needs to be accelerated. Yeah. We need to be talking to the State Department. This needs to be accelerated. We need to be talking to the UK, EU, ECOWAS, African Union. Guys, we can reach them. We just need all of us to come.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all need to come.
So I will forward those information I have, the videos and the photo clips.
Yeah.
They're bringing helicopters in Kano. I said there's a war. Helicopter gunships. People, you see soldiers shooting from the helicopter into living areas. So bad. Thank you.
My brother, listen, please stay safe out there. Stay safe. And I wish you well. And I hope everybody watching. This is why we Southerners, we need to work together. You should not be left to the mercy of these killers. We need to be able to put, the government, your state government should be providing this help and safety and security for you and your brothers and everybody. But we can clearly see that they're not doing that. But ladies and gentlemen, once again, this highlights the need for us to get on social media, Twitter handles. That is a very powerful point Jean made. Let's get out there with Twitter handles, videos. Send it, send anything you have. Thank you very much, Paul, my brother. And it is heartbreaking. Honestly, when you're hearing it firsthand, Modupe, what are your thoughts when you're hearing this?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I've been shaking my head, here, and it's just so I mean, it's very agonizing just to hear this. That now that the federal government, of course, we know that we know how wicked and useless they are, but for them to now be demonstrating it, in broad daylight with that, I mean, with impunity, and nobody's is really saying anything. And Paul said something. He said that they will go into people's homes and be asking for the young men. That
Yes,
in
that
itself
is
is
true.
an act
That
of
is
war.
true.
That's it.
That is in itself
Act
an
of
act of
war.
war when they're
It
killing
is
boys
war.
and,
It is
and
war.
men.
It
It
is
is
war.
war. So
It is war.
it's like some of us that keep saying, "Oh, we don't want war. Oh, don't do this. Oh, don't provoke them." We are already. I mean,
We're at
war
war.
has been
We're at
declared on
war.
us. So
Yes,
please,
yes. The invasion is active.
it is active.
And it is clipping up. It is clipping up.
Exactly.
And so all these people that are talking about going to 2023 election while your house is burning, you better think. You really need to think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you give those people a chance to stay on here longer, okay, there's not going to be much left. Okay, and we're getting, I'm getting firsthand report about this going from house to house, and the young men cannot even be out in broad daylight. They're being extremely careful. They said the situation is grave. The UN itself in 2019 said the situation was grave. In 2019, and said that urgent action is needed. Here we are, 2 years later. Where is the urgent action, Wald? And I'm speaking to you, UN. I'm speaking to you, NATO. Speaking to you, EU Council. Okay, I'm speaking to you, State Department in the US. I'm speaking to you, the UK Parliament, the UK House of Lords. Where is the urgent action? People are being killed. They're dying like chickens. Where is that urgent action? You had hunger. Did any of you ask Buhari why all of this is coming out? We're out here providing with the information. We're tweeting it to you. It's verifiable. Amnesty International is underground. UNICEF is underground.
They're all there.
The UN is underground. ICC is underground. They're sending this information out. So world leaders, where's your action? Are you going to wait until another Rwanda is on our hands, or worse than Rwanda?
Worse than that.
Is that what you're waiting for?
200 million plus.
Okay, we've got 90 million living in poverty right now. We're not counting those that have been starved to death. That's the future of the indigents being snuffed out. Okay, we need to get to the place where these Western countries get off their duff in stealing the goods. Exactly. And keeping this kind of thing going on in Africa. It needs to end. It must end.
Now.
Okay? We're human beings.
Now. Mm-hmm.
Okay? We are human beings. We don't have to wear our positions on our forehead for us to be human beings. Look around you, world. Look at what Nigerians are doing everywhere. And they're indigenous Nigerians. Look at what they're doing, the contribution to the world. And you're sitting back and letting barbarians slaughter people. What are you waiting for, Antonio Guterres? What are you waiting for? Your own special rapporteur told you in 2019 that urgent action is needed. What have you done?
Mohammed, Amina Mohammed will be sort of telling him something else.
Well, he knows the truth. His own special rapporteur. Yeah. He should be listening to her. Okay? I know she's moved on from that role, yeah. But another special rapporteur was sent in 2020. And he said that things were even worse. Where's the outrage from the world leaders? Where's the outrage? Where are the sanctions? So I mean, like, our people, come on, indigenous Nigerians, if you guys stay silent,
exactly,
if you don't start talking, okay, you've already lost, and you will start losing even more. These are not stories that are made up by those in the diaspora. This is reality. That's why we're giving you the information on the ICC. We gave you the information on the UN, Amnesty International. These are objective third parties. It's not diaspora making it up. It's objective. You heard what they said. The ICC has taken missions to Nigeria.
Yeah, Jean, just like Mr. Faleti suggested earlier on, and I know that this is being recorded, and that people are watching it, and some other people are going to watch it later on. But just to make sure, just to make sure that we're reaching everyone, and that no individual is left behind. Is it possible for us to kind of do this? Do things a little differently by maybe if this group start going to if Nina starts going to the different groups and making these numbers and this information, this data available, and talking to people there, because even though we do have people on the Nina
definitely trying to do
platform,
that.
and some of them are not, and some of them are just just a few of the people from other groups are on Nina's platform.
Right.
And even we don't have a whole lot of them attending this session, so we're just saying to kind of cast our nets wider, so that we can reach a lot of.
We have been,
I think it's time to get on the road.
We need the whole diversity of our people speaking.
Educational roadshow.
Yes, we need to be doing that now instead of waiting for them to come.
But we need
people,
we need to be going to them. We need people, like you, Modupe, you've been coming to this meetings, you've moderated, you've presented. Stephen is now on board. Eugene has been coming, he's on board. Amora. So we keep training and training people for that specific purpose. Okay? And that's the specific purpose. We've been training a lot of people, and, but they also have to learn the information, because at the beginning, we always try to give the background, give the information, because people want to know what has been done. You need to know the steps that have been taken, right? So if you go to Freedom from Nigeria, Steps to Our Freedom, the information is documented there. There are videos there. There's, chronological recording of what's going on, right? So yes, we need a wider diversity of people to join in. And that's where we ourselves need to be reaching out to other people, reaching out to churches, reaching out to the organizations that we belong to, our own village organizations, and sharing this information with them. That's what activating people power is about. Okay? So we're providing the Nina's message, and we're trying to activate people from this platform so that they've got the videos, they've got the information, and it's on Twitter. We break it down on Twitter, to little bite-sized information. Like I said, we're getting ready to start TikTok so that we can take pieces of this information so that they can start traveling a lot to the young people, right? So these are all things that we're trying to do, but we just need people so that we can expand our circle,
I just wanted to. Who's speaking?
Sorry. Mr. Faleti here.
Okay, please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, sir. Jane, please allow me to make this as plain as I can. I know and appreciate all our efforts, but what you may not realize is that there is a very pervasive credibility gap between NINAS and the Alliance members. We need urgently to bridge that gap. One way to do that is, as Dr. Dupe has suggested, let us embark with the little resource that we have right now. Personally, I volunteer myself, okay? Let us go on the educational roadshow unless and until we bridge
absolutely.
that
And
gap.
I volunteer everybody.
Listen, unless and until we bridge that gap, everything we are doing is rhetoric with the choir. That's my point.
I think I'll go
Thank
for.
you.
Thank you very much. I think I like the idea of what my elder Stephen Faleti said, and Modupe as well. Here's what I think I would like to do. I'm going to mention it to the media group. I know they've been busy. I want to go back to them. Maybe we'll get Modupe and my elder Stephen to come on or do like a little, half an hour thing, a video, post it, and start reaching people. Let's try that, and then we'll share it on Twitter.
Right. As you know, that is part of the because AY, we talked about that, and so that's why we're getting people on board and trained so that we can have a wide variety of people from across the territory. Thomas will do his bit. We've got Dr. Carey, who unfortunately is not with us today. We've got Dr. Samuel. We've got lots of people that have been learning the message and as we talked about, I think, was it the week before last, about doing those bite-sized information. You know, we want to get the bloggers on board, right? We need those bloggers on board to be able to get the to be able to get the word out. We need to make short videos, whether they're like a minute, 2 minutes, that really focuses on key things. We need a 5 minutes, a 10, the 15, the 30.
Yeah.
And I think I sent you, I'm not sure if I did, ended up sending you some of the ones that we did with the young people, where they had a round table and really explaining what was going on.
That is something I actually want to, if you haven't just sent, I don't think I've seen it, send it just to
yeah, I'll make sure that
and I will use that as a way to bring, and I'm actually be talking, I'll be doing some shows myself about young people, focusing on the young people.
Right, and we talked about also bringing people to have, so that we can have as a start every single day. We've got a host hosting a program.
I'll get some.
Okay? We need to get people to sign up. Stephen has signed up to host a show, even if it's only 30 minutes, Stephen, once a week, or even if it's twice a month. Okay, and I know Modupe has signed up to host one. So we just have to assign people to the days. Eugene is already ready. Eugene is ready to go, and Omoba has, she's ready to go. Evangelist. Yeah. So we've got a good number of people, right? That can actually step in. Liz, is a good one to step in and help. So we just need to make the list. Send it out so that people would look at what days and what times they want to, and let's just start. Just 30 minutes. Just 30 minutes once a week, so that we can cover 7 days. And then we'll work on having, instead of once a week, we'll get more people so that we'll have, every single day we'll have 2 going on. That's what we need to do. We need to actually get it done.
Okay.
We need to actually get it done. Imora, yes, you have your own show.
No, it's not so much. You see,
it's only 30 minutes. We're only talking 30 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I mean, no, what I'm trying to say is, sometimes this thing gets your passion really moved when you see, and then the lack of response. Now, you talk of the world leaders and so forth. One of the realities that I think about is that when it concerns Black people and Africa, the West and white leaders may not be as sensitized. You see, Rwanda, I remember that in Rwanda, they were killing 8,000 people a day. In 100 days, it was 800,000. Clinton could have done something.
But they won't.
But he did not.
That's the thing, right? That's the thing. The wealth resides in the soil in Africa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so they take the resources.
Every single country in the Western world has been built on wealth from Africa while impoverizing the people there. Yeah. That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So we need to stand up for ourselves.
I think so.
Okay?
To be honest, we should.
And especially the people in the diaspora. Okay, Israel did not get to be Israel until the diaspora got involved. Okay, so enough of this. I'm from here. I'm from there. And I'm this group and I'm that group. Okay, cut that nonsense. If we don't unite, you're giving up your ancestral ground.
That's it.
Period. You're giving up the future. You're giving up your heritage. Cut the nonsense about where you're from or what group you belong to. You need to be on this referendum message. You need to be on it, like white on rice. Period. Not brown rice, obviously. White rice.
I would like to also say something that because we talk about South Africa and we look at what happened there. You see, my personal opinion is that South Africa was something that the world looked at because there were white people living there. And it was going to, as that thing was happening, it was getting to the point that there could have become a racial war. Even till today, President Trump was saying something about how whites were suffering now. So you see, because there were white people in South Africa, they had to do something.
The thing, what turned What turned the tide in South Africa is getting people impassioned in the Western world when they saw the level of what was going on, because the people were very adamant about sending out the information, reaching out to people. Nigerians, indigenous Nigerians, learn from history of what works. You can't sit there and not sign the petition for referendum. You can't sit there and not tweet. You can't sit there and not be on Instagram and expect for things to change. WhatsApp is nothing, people. You're doing nothing. Stop telling yourselves that because you're passing messages amongst yourself that you're doing something. You're doing nothing until you come out into the real world.
Get out there.
On YouTube, on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then you're wasting your friggin' time.
Ma'am.
And wasting our time.
You're so fired up. Well,
I'm sorry. I'm so upset. Because things are escalating.
Emoro, don't take it personal. I understand where she's coming from. Don't take it personal. She's just it is really important, the things she said. For me, it's no longer about what the West do. It's about what we do. We cannot be looking at the West for solutions, because they're part of the
revolution. It's the people that rose up.
Yeah,
they were dying on the street, literally falling dead on the street.
I'm
exactly
with you.
Yeah.
Okay, Omaba, that's one of our presenters.
Yes.
He's going to have our own show. Welcome.
Yeah.
Well done, guys.
So where are we now? Where are we? Let me just bring you on board. Do you want to say a few words? I don't know, Chin, have you got a few minutes or before? How are we doing for time?
Yeah,
actually, if it's okay.
I already cut off the live feed, so we're just recording these portions so that we can, cut them up into pieces.
Great.
So we can,
there's one frustration.